Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back. Thank you for coming back. If you have come back, this might be the first time you've watched one of my videos. You're welcome. Okay. So previously, I've been talking about value in Counter-Strike. What resources a team has in order to get round wins, and some ideas of how we can trade our resources more effectively. One of the big resources that we have is map control, and that's also combined with our most valuable resource, which is players. And one thing I go through with my guys in general on CT side is not so much what they should be looking at, because that will change a lot, but generally whereabouts they should be. Because if you can tell a guy, okay, go watch B apps. No, you got to watch B apps, and he's got a lot of options of where he can watch that from. He can jump spot it from van, sit in the market and wait for someone to cross here. He can sit on this real thick-headed boost that I really love. He could be, short, looking at it from here. And apartments is being watched from all of those, and the deepest view is from van. But depending on what the situation is, you might want him in a different place so he's able to react to it. And the way the way I set up CT sites is by essentially giving my players triangles of space through which they work. And I'm going to show you the triangles that I do. You can put your triangles where you want for what you want to do. Like, my idea is it's just triangles, okay? So the first one we'll lay down on a bigger brush. Done. Okay, guy watching B, yeah? Man, this is the worst one to start with, actually. Because the guy that's normally on B for us is going to be somewhere between the market and the van and bench, right? He's not really going to be going towards cat unless the cat guy dies, and we really think it's a mid pressure. He's going to be waiting over here, and to be honest, the other place he's going to go is all the way down here to CT for a retake or to watch Murder Hole, those kinds of ideas. So he knows that generally he should be working within this triangle. Then our guy on short, I'm using the colors of our players, right? Our guy on short is either like up cat, hanging out here in short, or not window, not mid, basically up to here. That's not much of an overlap. That's the triangle he works in. He can play ladder room, can be all over cat, he can be short. That's not cat, by the way. He can be the second man to watch B. He can keep an eye on connector. He can keep an eye for the window jump. He can molly underpass, that kind of thing. Our AWPer, even though, to be honest, he often goes different places every time, depending on what his spawn is. Like, he's going to be in window, right? It's the longest angle, so it's a good idea. He also likes to peek from connector. That's a pretty good peek. And generally, he plays jungle or stairs-ish. I'll redo his triangle a little bit. Bum, 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 bum. Stairs-ish. So you can look palace, look down the ramp, you can look top mid, you can look short, you can keep an eye on overpass. That's generally the area he's going to work within. Technically, I'm the B anchor, I guess, And I basically play somewhere out there around here, depending on how aggressive I'm being at any one time. I can peek into Palace, I can peek into Ramp, I can play Dark, I can play Default, or I can play CT. If I'm in this area, then I can generally respond to what's going on. I can react to Con, I can react to B, I can put pressure on here, I can give information. I'm in a good triangle. I think I'm in a good triangle. And generally, if it is B, I am the last to rotate because I drop back to C. Our other guy that plays A, he's very fluid with our AWPer, right? Because we never know where our AWP is exactly going to be. But basically, his triangle is somewhere between window jungle, on stairs, and CT. Because if we've got our AWPer and our short guy keeping an eye on mid, I'm somewhere stupid. I'm like in Palace. Him being back here in CT is a good place for him to hold on to. So these are the zones that the guys need to work within, and they understand it geographically. Because there's always more than one thing to watch, right? If I'm watching close T ramp, I'm not watching Palace. If green or blue are within their triangles, one of them is able to pick up that Palace coverage. If purple's gone up short, he's not watching apps. Orange has got apps. It gets very frustrating on CT side. You know, this is for newer teams where people are like watching the thing you want them to watch, but in a position that isn't optimal, right? Depending on the time. So for me, because I'm on the ramp, I can have a little peek in ramp, right? Maybe get the information and see what's going on. But by the time I've gone here, I'm not very useful. I mean, there could have been a guy in Palace. They could be coming out con onto A right now or going out onto B, and I've got a long fucking way to go around. Similarly, triangle. Okay, I lied. His triangle's a bit different because he can lurk in apps a little bit. If our B guy is pushed deep here without a pretty good reason for doing it, and they go through the window to mark it, they go short, he's way out of position to be able to deal with anything, and he's strung our short guy out, purple. Like, his triangle now has to watch too many locations. Yeah, okay. This is the default, right? This is saying, look, everyone's going to operate within these areas, and they always just work out to be triangles, because people can keep three things in mind. We will have strats where we go, okay, we're going to push this, we're going to put pressure on here. But if no one's been told to do that, then we know that people are going to be in round about the safe areas. You know, it's not too much of a surprise. You can't get shot in the back. It's the worst thing in Counter-Strike when you get shot in the back. And it's worse when you think someone's watching something and they're not. We all have an idea of each other's triangles. Okay? So if our short guy is gonna, I don't know, push up mid to have a look top mid, we all know what his triangle is. And generally speaking, the triangles kind of overlap. I'll do some more maps. But if he's out of position, I don't just know, like, okay, no one's watching top mid. I know that, okay, there's no backup on B. There's no one really watching connector from that other side, from short. Mid's a lot more open than it could be, etc., etc., etc. If he's going to be out of his position, then I've got to get real back in my position, right? That makes sense. So let's do a couple more maps. Do Mirage first because it's the most standard map, But fortunately now, the map pool is so varied that there aren't really standard maps anymore. Okay, let's have a look at Inferno. Does this actually fill the screen? Yeah, it does, it does, it does. Okay, I always talk about Inferno because Inferno is just so fucking weird. Right, I play Bianca. So that's not true. I'm gonna be like half wall, backside, or maybe down there if I need to make a quick rotation or keep an eye on speedway and that kind of thing. Orange. Our apps guy is generally somewhere between pit, boiler, and deep in apps. What like our blue and green players, one of which is the AWPer, they tend to trade roles, etc., and double up. We never know exactly where the AWP is going to be, and I don't want to tell you where my AWP is going to be. But our long player is also our first rotator generally. So he's going to be somewhere like this. If he gets pulled round to help on B, then he's gone round to help on B. He can drop back onto A site and give up long or watch long from the long angle. He's watching top mid and boiler, etc. Our second B player generally plays coffin / backside, and he'll work far further over here than I will. Because if we send a rotate to A, he's going to be the one that goes. So purple and green are kind of doing the same idea. Our AWPer could be anywhere. Really. AWPers are the biggest pain in the ass. Because if you want to implement them strong, then they really need to have the potential to be anywhere. But generally speaking, his good angles on Inferno are top mid, banana, and then at the back of any bomb site. So I'll be honest, this triangle is probably my weakest triangle here. Actually, no, he holds long, doesn't he? Yep, that's what he does. He holds long because then he can defend A from library if he has to go library. I'll make his triangle a little bit bigger. Come back. There we go, that's his triangle. He's not fucking around waiting here for a maybe rotate. He's going places to kill people generally. This is a lot messier than the Mirage one. Right? And that's just because of the nature of Inferno. It is essentially a donut with smaller donuts within it. But this is where people play. And we know that they're going to play. Let's do another one. Let's do Nuke. Nuke's exciting. Boom. In the screen. The doors. Okay. Right. Our AWPer generally plays outside, okay? Yeah, you can see that was big enough. He's going to work between garage, like CT-ish, and heaven / hell, right? You can keep an eye on outside. You can back up on ramp quickly. You can go up hell and watch people coming out the doors or be around. We call this Zywoo or lockers. Zywoo's on top of lockers, and pick people off if they're trying to get down secret. That's his triangle. Our number 1 A player generally on the hut, in heaven, or over in this corner. Right, actually, I guess you could come down a bit further to Mustang, but really, it's like this. He's anchoring A. He's the last person that's going to leave A. Our mini player, main player, never call it mini, just read it. His triangle also starts to get a bit weird. It's something like this, right? He supports outside. He keeps an eye on Squeak. He might get stuck outside. That's just the way it goes sometimes. So he's working this triangle. Ramp is weird because it's a 2-layer map, right? generally speaking, he's going to be back here at the back of the ramp. You can go hell. And then really the next place for him to go is downstairs towards B, right? Not necessarily to go all the way to secret, but to be rampish on B, maybe close control. This is annoying. Just, you know how Newt works. You know he goes downstairs. And honestly, the way we play is that I am just a massive pain in the ass. I'm generally going to be close outside, in secret. Yeah, really, I move a lot. And that's just part of our strategy. But generally, I move around here. I back up outside, I push outside, I go secret. I can back up main when there's a push through there. I can go over to ramp to back that up, or we push control a lot. Everyone should. I can go heaven. It's definitely a lot weirder on Nuke. But one of the reasons on Nuke having your triangle sorted out is quite important is the way that rotates work. Right? Orange's best rotate is down to B. Okay, assuming everyone's upstairs and then suddenly they have to go downstairs. Orange's rotate is down the ramp, yeah? That's quite close. Green's rotate, he has the biggest choice. He can, you can go down the vent over here, or if he's closer, he can run down heaven, go down ramp. For me, outside, I can go down secret, or I'm going down the vent inside. Our AWPer has the biggest potential to be really fucking far away from getting to B site. He is going to be, if it's like, they're going to be, he is the last guy that is going to be able to get there for the retake. That's the way it is. Purple can go straight down the vent, or he can come back me up outside. So, assuming that if they've managed to go B at all, they can only really jump down the vent, go down the ramp, or go down secret, right? We're assuming that one of us has died. Yeah? So, let's say Ramp Man's taken out. Well, wait. Actually, this gets complicated because we don't know if the bombs are being planted yet, numbers, etc., etc., etc. But having people stay within the zones on Nuke isn't just about defending the sites and the areas of map control, but how are we going to have people in places where they can rotate and not just leave us completely open, right? If Ramp Guy dies, it's very easy to get someone in hell for us. If I die outside, it's easy to get the AWPer over here or have the main player come out. If the Heaven guy dies, we can get the AWPer up in Heaven. The triangles are laid out so that the rotates are really possible. Do I have any more? Oh, overpass. Okay, this is just the last one because I'm sure you're sick of me talking about triangles. The main reason I think triangles are good is because it's very easy for your players to understand them, understand their triangle. My guys say like, okay, I'm just going to go stay in my triangle. I'm sitting in my triangle. And then it's like, oh yeah, I totally know where the fuck they are. Okay, our purple player, he plays like bathroom. Oh, come on. I'm not got a pen. How does anyone actually know how computers work? Because I don't see why that won't work. Didn't work. Active layer is not visible. How about now? Still not visible. I'm not editing this. Son of a... What did I do? If I had live viewers, potentially someone could actually tell me what I did. Okay, I was here, I deleted, got rid of them. So unselect that, get rid of that, let's click on that, get the pen out. Yay, it works again. Okay. Purple, and I know this is pink. Purple plays incon, plays bathrooms, and he's aggressive around party. This is at the start of the round before someone dies, okay? I am somewhere, oops, through the bathrooms, back to here, really. I stay away from long for the most part. Our Orput, for the most part, plays on A. He rarely goes heaven. Don't use that against us. So he's generally a site. That's his triangle, pretty much. And then sometimes, honestly, the B site is just a mystery to me as to what's actually going on. Because I tell them kind of what I think would be a good idea, but then they're just renegades. And they take, who calls this jungle? And they take it into their own like minds what they think they should be doing. Orange, who's pretty much the anchor, he plays between, deep monster, watching short, playing in the water, or playing in the construction. And then green generally plays more heaven, jungle, and backside, right? And the main reason for that is so he can rotate to A faster if he's heaven. Of course, if he rotates up, then orange is going to come back a bit more. Let's tighten it up. But that's the way it goes. These triangles really different from the nuke triangles. Really. Nuke's triangles have that kind of verticality to them. Whereas these triangles seem to just stack on top of each other. And that's certainly something to consider during the map. Like on this map, our triangles don't really overlap. They touch, so I could be closer to blue or closer to purple, and green could be like closer to blue or closer to orange. But there's not so much double coverage just because of the way Overpass works. Now, Overpass is the way I think it should be played is Overpass is a super aggressive CT map. This is a bit of an aside, but I think being CT, having control of water, we call this second mid. I think having control of this is the biggest dog deal on the map, right? Keeping some sort of eye on the top of connector, even if you don't have like full party control, is fairly manageable. But you can just lose track of water and con very, very quickly. So when we are aggressive, one of the main things we're aiming to do is shut this guy out of here. Either shut this guy out of con or kill him, and really take control of this area. And generally, that's orange attempts it, he either gets it or he doesn't get it. Know what I mean? Okay. I think that's all I've got to talk about at the moment with triangles. But I just think it's a very good visual way of showing your players whereabouts they should be on the map, because they're smart enough to know what they're watching. If they've got the communication of, I've given up, I'm not watching top con, and people know, like, okay, I should keep an eye on that because I know it's open. I know this guy's going to be over here somewhere, and he can back me up, or I'm going to have to back him up. Thanks very much for watching. I'm never going to write a script. Fuck, shit, damn, ass, piss. Don't put ads on this video. Thank you very much.